vain.
It says the customs. Now, that's what we're about to get into. We're about to get into the customs of the people. What? The other nations. Read on.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
Uh-oh, there we go. It says one cuts a tree out of the forest. What did he cut it with?
The work of the hands of the workmen with the axe.
With the axe. You see that all day long. There's videos of them chopping down trees by the thousands. They make a lot of money during this time of year so that you can put that tree up in your house to celebrate Satan. All of the earth, and they teach their ways. One of their customs is Christmas. I know I grew up in, the Christian church, and I remember looking forward to that thing. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and act like I wasn't brought up as a kid, ready to run downstairs and open up my presents and looking forward to the big feast we was going to have, later on after we done wore ourselves out playing with all our toys. Y'all know, y'all don't act like y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, y'all did the same thing, you know what I mean? But, it's time to put that stuff away. It's time to put away foolish things, right? So let's get Jeremiah 10. Let's get Jeremiah 10 so we can start off with what the Most High says. Because maybe I'm just giving my opinion. Maybe I'm just trying to get y'all to stop having fun, if that's what you call it. Let's read that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
So he's talking to the house of Israel. So if you know that you're an Israelite, he's talking directly to you. Read.
Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
So he says, learn not the way of the heathen. So the heathen are any nations that are set up outside of Israel. Any nations that are not of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Just so I can make it clear, right? So he wants us to follow him, not the other nations. So read on.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
It says what?
Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Let's put that up on the screen so I can show you what he's talking about, because they've already done it. See, those are the signs of heaven. Get the other one. See? They've made gods for themselves based off of the signs of heaven. They look up into heaven and they see Aries and Taurus and Pisces and Scorpio. And they find themselves worshiping these deities. They say, yeah, that's my God. Yeah, my God is better than your God. And this is what he's talking about. He's telling us don't learn their ways because, read on, watch this.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
It says the heathen. They look up in the sky and they're like, oh man, that star is so big and bright. That must be God. I'm going to worship that star right there. They're dismayed at it. They can't. They're wondering like, man, how did that get so beautiful? And then they choose it as their God. Read on.
For the customs of the people are vain.
It says the customs. Now, that's what we're about to get into. We're about to get into the customs of the people. What? The other nations. Read on.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
Uh-oh, there we go. It says one cuts a tree out of the forest. What did he cut it with?
The work of the hands of the workmen with the axe.
With the axe. You see that all day long. There's videos of them chopping down trees by the thousands. They make a lot of money during this time of year so that you could put that tree up in your house to celebrate Satan. Man, some of y'all probably bought some of those things. If y'all did, y'all need to put it away, because what? What do we read? We read in the Bible. God is telling us not to do these things. Read on.
They deck it with silver and with gold.
It says they deck it with silver and gold. Man, what? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that silver and look at that gold on there. They saying that this tree has come back to life. They said, this is my God. He has come back to life. Read.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers.
It says they fasten it with nails and hammers. So they got to make sure that it don't go nowhere, right? Because this tree is alive now. They're saying that this tree, we don't want it to run off. This is our God. How are you able to control your own God? Come on, man. This is the foolishness we got to bring out. Read on.
That it move not.
That it move not. Read.
They are upright as the palm tree.
As the what?
As the palm tree.
So we're going to show you in a couple of videos that the palm tree was what they had on that side of the earth. But that was what the Egyptians had set up. They used the palm tree. So guess where we got it from? Egypt. Read on.
But speak not.
But speak not. Now the evergreen tree, that came from the Romans. They set that thing up because they said this thing never dies. Man, this is the tree we're going to use. Watch, we're going to bring it out later. Read on.
They must needs be born.
Means be born, mean carried. How do you carry your own God? You see why he's saying that the custom of the people are vain? It don't even make sense. You cut your God down, and then you pick it up, and you carry your God into your house. he can't walk, so you got to carry him. This is foolishness, read.
Because they cannot go.
They cannot walk. They self. This is a God, though. Read.
Be not afraid of them.
It says, be not afraid of them. Read.
For they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good.
So they don't have no power, is basically what he's saying. You just set up something without power. When you in need of money, or when you sick, or whatever it is that you need your God for, it says he ain't got no power to do nothing. He ain't got no power to help you. So read on.
That's it on that.
That's it on that. So Jeremiah in the spirit, the Most High is directing him, look, tell the people not to follow this custom because this custom is vain. Now you're going to see a lot of people get mad when you tell them, hey, look, Christmas is of the devil. Well, we're going to see. We're going to see right here today whether that's true. Get Proverbs 3:31, and then we're going to jump into a little bit of history to show you where all this stuff come from. Read on.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
Envy thou not the oppressor.
It says, envy thou not the oppressor. Because we've been over here so long, we envy the ways of this white man, Esau, these Edomites. We envy the things that they do, and we want to do them. We see them as being God's chosen people. They calling themselves who we are. They saying that they are God's people. So now we want to do what they do. Read.
And choose none of his ways.
It says choose none of his ways. So all of these things that we're about to show you today, he says don't choose any of them. So what did we describe? God gave a description of what that custom is. It's Christmas. Okay, get that video on Saturnalia. So we're going to go through this video a little bit to give you a little bit of insight on how the Romans did it and where that practice came from in the Roman society. All right, and I made it real simple so that y'all can understand it. All right, yeah, let's read that definition. Blow that up. Can you see it?
Blow it up.
Blow it up a little bit so you can see it.
Saturnalia is an ancient Roman festival and holiday in honor of the god Saturn.
The god who?
Saturn.
So they worship the planet. This is one of the signs of heaven. They looked up there, they seen Saturn, they like, oh, this is going to be our God. This is a planet that they worship in. Read.
Held on 17 December in the Julian calendar and later expanded with festivities until 19 December by the 1st century BC. The celebration had been extended until the 23rd of December for a total of 7 days of festivities.
So this is what happened. It started off as one day that they was given to their God. Then over time, it got longer. They extended it to the 19th. And then by the 1st century BC, it had gone all the way to day 23. 7 days. So they trying to do theirs like us. They trying to set up a feast day. This is a feast day for them. Now let's get that video. Let's show that video real quick.
Popular across the world, with Christmas dominating much of the Western tradition.
There we go.
It's a winning recipe of things we love: friends, family, gift-giving, singing, feasting, partying, and more. The Romans too celebrated Christmas as far back as the 4th century AD. However, before that, they had their own winter holiday, which honestly blows the stockings off our own tradition. It was a week-long Mardi Gras-style street festival fueled by endless drinking, where slaves became masters and fools were crowned king. You had all your classic holiday-style caroling and gift-giving, though far, far naughtier, with a healthy dose of ancient blackjack and hookers sprinkled on top. This was the festival of Saturnalia, Rome's awesome pagan Christmas.
So this was in
I spent
tribute.
a lot of time
this was in
reading
tribute
history
to their,
books to make these
their god
documentaries.
Saturn. Go ahead, keep playing.
Yet I still find myself with
All
the
right,
growing
now
list
skip to
of titles.
skip ahead to the video because I think it's gonna go through a little bit of commercial in there. Apologies again.
Whom are associated with rebirth, harvest, and heralding a new golden age. In Rome, the holiday of Saturnalia started out humbly as an agricultural festival set around the winter solstice in December, when the people would collect their last harvest of the year. As they concluded this work, they would mark the occasion by honoring Saturn. This would be done at the temple of the harvest god at the foot of the Capitoline Hill. Here, Rome's priests would gather at the head of the population, with the other upper classes wearing their best togas and the plebeians wearing their finest tunics. A parade of bulls, the largest of the year, would then be brought in and sacrificed. The event was carried out under the watchful eye of Saturn himself. The way this worked is the priests would actually bring with them a statue of the god bound in wool. As the ceremonies began, they would ritualistically unwrap the statue and place it on a couch. Symbolically, this represented the idea of rebirth, where Saturn would appear like a newborn child springing from the womb in the 10th month.
Stop it right there. So y'all see that this custom goes way back, and it always seems to go into the birth of a child. You know what I mean? So it's like they'll take parts of one culture, and then over time it just becomes 3 or 4 different cultures that they just wash all together. And I'm going to show you that today. Go ahead, finish that out.
Once upon his couch, the god would then be able to partake in the feasts which followed. For the remainder of the day, all forms of work and public business would be suspended. Over time, as Rome grew, the holiday would continue to evolve. The official ceremony we have just described apparently underwent a series of reforms around the 3rd century BC, when Greek practices were imported upon consultation with the Sibylline books. Additionally, the festival would now be pinned to December 17th, rather than arbitrarily following the final harvest. Because of the holiday's popularity, it was also incrementally expanded over time, from 1 feast day up to a total of 7. Let's now take a closer look at the full glory of this pagan Christmas.
Okay, so stop it right there. So did you hear what he just said? He said over time, when the Greeks came in, because it was the Roman, remember, this was the Roman Republic. And then when they conquered Greece, it became the Greco-Roman Empire. So now they started to add more of the things you see today, the Greeks did, into the Roman style of their Saturnalia holiday. Go ahead.
The days leading up to Saturnalia would have Rome abuzz. As a major public holiday, it was the duty of the aediles to oversee the official preparations. With their reputation on the line, they would have been hard at work planning on how to make this year's celebrations as memorable as possible. Part of this involved employing hundreds of laborers to transform Rome for the occasion by cleaning the streets, setting up decorations, and erecting temporary structures. This would be necessary to accommodate the huge swell in the city's population caused by celebrants flocking in from the countryside. After all, Rome was still a highly rural society, with many small towns and farms dominating the land. Saturnalia, as a harvest festival, was a particularly strong magnet for farmers who were keen to give thanks to Saturn, as well as to be able to reunite with old friends and acquaintances in the big city. Thus, Rome's homes, inns, and taverns filled with growing excitement as families looked forward to the festivities. With the days slowly ticking away, people were sure to be rushing around to make final preparations and close out business before the holidays.
Now you see that today. You know, I was out trying to get me some stuff at Walmart. Man, it was jam packed. People trying to get all of their last minute shopping to celebrate this day, this wicked holiday. So we seeing the same thing that happened back then happening now. Go ahead.
Finally, the day would come. It was December 17th. Starting in the early hours of the morning, people across Rome would awake and begin to stream into the Forum, eager to secure the best spots and celebrate the time-honored tribute to Saturn. Once settled, they waited with bated breath. Soon, their patience would be rewarded by a low rumble that would begin to grow and grow until, in the distance, its source was revealed. A grand parade was making its way through the streets of Rome. At its head were the priests and senate, and behind them a seemingly endless line of bulls. This procession made its way past the throngs of onlookers until eventually coming to a stop before the Temple of Saturn. Here, the animals would then be sacrificed and a great feast prepared with the reclining statue of Saturn as its honorary guest.
So that's part of this festival that they used to do. They used to do sacrifices at that time. See, so it's showing you that all of these things that were set up for us to do in Israel, some of these things they just copying. You know, okay, here's our God, and we're going to sacrifice to our gods. So you celebrating this holiday, all you're doing is mimicking that wicked stuff that these people used to do back then. You're not actually following what Christ said. Even though you may think, okay, well, you know, I just spending time with family. No, you're actually taking part in Satan's feast day. That's what you're doing. Finish that video.
Surely the god would be most pleased by this dazzling display of piety. Rome's good fortune for the following year had been secured. Thus ended the official component of Saturnalia. All public business was stopped on this day and would remain closed for the duration of the festival. No law courts were conducted, all schools were closed, and even the mechanisms to declare war were shut down. This was a time for celebration, and the Romans were particularly good at that. The following free-flowing festivities were guided only by customs. But while unregulated, they did share the common theme of a world turned upside down where traditional roles and social norms were inverted. It seems that this may have gotten its origin as a nod to the idea of a return to Saturn's golden age, which had existed before rank and order, before slavery and property. Now was a time to make this Edenic existence a reality. The first sign of change were the holiday clothes. During the festival, people traded their bland togas for brightly colored garments.
So don't you see that today? You see that today. People come out and they put on the Santa hat and they have on the ugly sweaters and, you know, they get ready for this holiday. You're seeing the exact same thing. He's describing exactly what happened back then. So if you think you're not taking part in Satan's holidays, yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. Go ahead.
To slave, or the felt pileus cap, which traditionally signified one's status as a free man. The second sign of change was the new social order. Each family would select a princeps, or leader of Saturnalia, who was typically of lower status. This might be a child or servant. Slaves were now treated as equals, and might even be elevated to the point that their masters served them. Reportedly, slaves were exempt from punishment, and even allowed to insult their masters, within bounds of reason.
So you see, this is how they make it fun. This is how they make you join in. Oh, why wouldn't you want to do that? Now, you could tell your boss to go to hell. You know, you could order your boss around. You could tell him, no, I'm in charge now. You got the kids telling everybody. You see that today. They're doing, the kids is running the show. You got people in our society, rappers and entertainers that are the leaders. They turning things upside down. This is how they do. This is how they get down. Go ahead.
This all came together at the grand public feast on the first day of Saturnalia, following the religious ceremony at the Temple of Saturn. The Aedals for the year would actually foot the bill and plan out the banquet, which meant that its appearance depended on who was responsible and how much money they had. Most of the time.
So stop. So I'm gonna stop it right there. But that's what it's going into. Okay, you're preparing for the feast. You're preparing to basically get it in for that whole 7 days is what they were doing, and it costs money. The same things you're seeing happen today. let's see. Let's get Hebrews 11 and 25. Because this custom actually was done in Egypt as well. And we're going to touch on that a little later. All right, read on.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 25.
Uh-huh.
Choosing rather to suffer affliction.
Hold on, go up. Get 24.
Verse 24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter.
So you see what happened with Moses. When he came to age, he said, you know what? I'm not Egyptian. That's how we are now. We know we're not Egyptian. We know we're not Americans. We know we're not the other nations. We're Israelites. So once he came to that knowledge, what did he do?
Choosing rather to suffer affliction.
Hold on, doing what?
Suffer affliction.
That's what we got to do. We got to go through. We got to suffer that affliction by not keeping these commandments of men, by not celebrating their high holy days, by not choosing any of their ways. You know, we've been doing it for a long time. Yeah, it takes some getting out of that. But he said, look, Moses chose to do that thing. That's our forefathers. We got to look at the examples of our forefathers, you know, to know how to roll today. Read.
With the people of God.
Uh-huh. With the who?
With the people of God.
Read.
Than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season.
For a what?
For a season.
For a season. The pleasure of sin for a season. You know, Christians will tell you Jesus is the reason for the season. so that makes it okay to celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas and things like that. That's what I was told. I don't know about y'all, but yeah, that's what it's saying. Rather than to enjoy celebrating Christmas and New Year's and Easter, all of these things that don't make any sense, he said no. He chose to suffer with his people. That's why you're here. You're here to learn that you're an Israelite and that we have our own high holy days. Get Leviticus 23 and 4. God gave us our own high holy days. You know, we ain't gonna be out there bringing in prostitutes and drinking and getting drunk and things like that, like they did. We're not gonna get out like that. Read.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 4.
Uh-huh.
These are the feasts of the Lord.
These are what?
The feast of the Lord.
So God is letting us know, look, these are the feasts of the Lord, of the Most High God. Read.
Even holy convocations.
Even holy this is when we come together. We don't come together on Christmas and celebrate those things that the heathens do. Read.
Which ye shall proclaim in their seasons.
In their what?
In their seasons.
In their seasons. We just celebrated the Feast of Dedication, dedicating the temple back to the Most High God, you know, in the time of the Greeks. So that's what we're commanded to do. We're commanded to follow what's in those scriptures. Read. Is that it?
For that verse, yes, sir.
Okay. So let's get that next video and go to, let me see, 2124. This brother did a video back in the day on Christmas. It's one of the first ones I seen when I came into the truth. And I liked how he broke this down. The whole video was pretty good, but I want to just go into these things based on the trees and where they came from and things like that. All right. You got that?
The mother of Adonis, the sun god and great mediatorial divinity, was mystically said to have been changed into a tree. So earlier all the same tree as Baal Berith.
Yeah, go back a
which
little
when you
bit
understand
more.
anything about and the
Go back just a little bit more.
Baal Berith. Which when you understand anything about religious origin, you'll know that these are all the same gods. They stem from the same gods back in ancient Babylon, the worship of Nimrod, reincarnated after he died when he was deified by his mother Semiramis. He became known as Baal, and then became known as Baal-Zebub or Beelzebub. And when you read the Bible, that's the highest ranking demon in the demonic forces. Luke 11 verse 15. But some of them said, he casteth out devils through Beelzebub, the chief of the devils. He's the head chief demon of all the legions underneath him. So when you have this tree in your house, the Christmas tree, you dealing on a high level of satanic worship, whether you know it or not.
See, that's what he's talking about. When you putting a tree in there, because the tree actually represents Nimrod, the god that they worship. That's what you're actually setting up another god in your house when you put that tree in there. That spirit is supposed to come back into it. You set the lights and you set up the silver and the gold on it. That's bringing it back to life. He's telling you, you are worshiping the chief of the demons. Go ahead, play on.
Right there, you conjuring direct. That tree is the direct porthole to Satan himself, the Beelzebub. The Christmas tree, as has been stated, was generally at Rome a different tree, even the fir. But the very same idea as was implied in the palm tree was implied in the Christmas fir.
You see that?
For that covertly symbolized the newborn God as Baal Berith.
So stop.
Lord of the covenant.
So that's what he's going into. In Egypt, it was the palm tree. That's what they set up, the palm tree. But it was the same God. In Rome, they set up the fir tree, which is the pine tree that you see today. So it doesn't matter which tree they set up. It's the same custom of the world. They setting up and serving Baal, Satan himself. Go ahead.
Covenant, and thus shadowed forth the perpetuity and everlasting nature of his power. Not that after having fallen before his enemies, he had risen triumphant over them all. Therefore, the 25th of December, the day that was observed at Rome as the day when the victorious God reappeared on earth and held at the Natalis Invictus Solis, the birthday of the unconquered sun.
So stop.
Now
It says, it's basically giving you the history, how it got turned into this, December 25th. Baal Berith, meaning Lord of the covenant, or what was it? Go back. I think it was Son of the covenant or Lord of the covenant.
Lord of the covenant.
Lord of
and
the
thus
covenant. So this is what he's talking about. He's talking about these people set these trees up to be their Lord and their God. This is who they saying is their Lord and their Savior. You may say, oh, well, no, that's not how I see it. Yeah, that's how it is. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you when we get later on in this class. Is that it? Play on a little bit. That might be it for that one.
Forth the perpetuity and everlasting nature of his power. Not that after having fallen before his enemies, he had risen triumphant over them all. Therefore, the 25th of December, the day that was observed at Rome as the day when the victorious God reappeared on earth and held at the Natalis Invictus Solis, the birthday of the unconquered sun. Now the Yule log is the dead stock of Nimrod, deified as the sun god, but cut down by his enemies. The Christmas tree is Nimrod redivivus, the slain God come to life again.
So stop. The slain God come together. See, you see how they trying to mix that with Christ? They saying Christ died and rose again. So they put December 25th to basically deceive you into believing you was worshiping Christ. But you really set up Christ as being Satan. So all of this is deception. All of it is deception to get you to worship Satan. So you may be thinking, some of y'all out there may be thinking that, hey, look, I'm just going to go get a plate. Yeah, you partaking in the feast. You partaking in the feast of Satan. They letting you know, they didn't written it down so that you can see. They letting you see, look, this is what you, but it's just up to you. It's your will. You got to decide whether you're going to worship Satan or whether you're going to worship God. Any part you partake in, going over there, oh, I just want to hang out, I'm not going to even eat. No. Any part of you going over there participating with people that are doing wicked, knowing that they're doing wicked, you are guilty too. The scriptures say it in Romans 1. Now let's get the video of Sol Invictus, because that's what they touched on. Sol Invictus goes into December 25th. It's called the Invincible Sun or the Unconquered Sun. And this is what Rome represented themselves as.
Sol Invictus, the undefeated sun, is one of the most iconic and significant deities of the late Roman Empire, a symbol of might and eternity. His cult was established by Emperor Aurelian in 274 AD.
So
Sol
stop.
Invictus.
Stop. What do y'all see on top of his head? Show it again. What do y'all see on top of his head? Where else do you see that? Get a picture of the Statue of Liberty. You see that? You see that? This is they are putting it in our face. Get a picture of the Statue of Liberty, so you can see that. Sol Invictus, December 25th. They have set themselves up as the invincible sun or the unconquered sun. It's sun worship. That's all it is. We can get that later. We can go on with the video. I just wanted, there it is. There it is. There it is now. Get matter of fact, since we on the roll, hold that, and I'll put it back up there. Put it back up there. Get Isaiah. Get Isaiah 14 and verse 12.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
Oh, who?
O Lucifer.
So what's the definition of Lucifer? The light bearer. Put that picture back up there. The light bearer. This is who they saying they are. They the light bearer. Christ said, I'm the morning star. They said, no, that's us. All of this go back to self-worship, sun worship, and satanic worship. Go back to the video. Watch what he got in his hand. He's sitting there holding it. Watch what he got. Look at that. That's
was
Lucifer.
Not an isolated creation, but a blend of different solar traditions pervading the Roman world and beyond. Sol Invictus finds its roots in Eastern solar cults, particularly the worship of the god Mithra, who already had significant popularity in Rome. But the adaptation of Sol Invictus went further than a simple cultural import. In a bid to coalesce the empire under a coherent state religion, Aurelian built a grand temple dedicated to Sol Invictus in Rome and established a priestly council to oversee the cult. This initiative not only cemented its position as a pivotal cult, but also injected the empire with a new source of religious and political cohesion. The title Invictus, or Invincible, underlines the idea of the sun as an eternal and unstoppable force. In Roman iconography, Sol Invictus was frequently...
You see, that's how Rome, that was their mindset. They prideful, an unstoppable force. Their kingdom is going to live forever. They see themselves as the sun. Like, we gonna be here forever. And can't nobody stop us, no matter what we do. You see that happening today. Israel is over there bombing everybody. Syria's government just fell, and they done bombed that place over 800 times. And nobody doing nothing about it. This is how they see themselves. Nobody can stop us. We're the invincible ones. We are the light bearers. All right, go on, finish that out.
Portrayed as a radiant youth, wreathed in solar rays and driving the solar chariot on its daily journey across the sky. This glowing image reflected both the life-giving power of the sun and its divine authority over the earth. Sol Invictus did not stand on its own. He embodied different religious traditions. Syncretism, the process of fusing different religious practices and beliefs, was key to his acceptance and veneration.
All right, stop
Components
it right
of the Greek sun god Helios.
So you're talking about now you're going into the Greek sun god Helios. Now, get 2 Corinthians 11 and 14.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11 in verse
Very,
4.
very much so.
You will stand.
Watch this.
For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus.
So it says, for he that cometh preacheth another Jesus. No, 11 and 14.
Oh.
11 and 14. But that's good. We can touch on that.
Say-
Matter of fact, yeah, read that. Read 4 and then we'll jump to 14.
Verse
you in the
4.
spirit, bro. You in the spirit.
For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus.
So this is Paul talking about this same empire, for he that cometh, because the Roman Empire was prophesied to fall and then rise again. If he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, and we know that they did that. When they came back as the Roman Catholic Church. Now we're gonna show you how all of this correlates with Christmas. Read.
Whom we have not preached. Or if ye receive another spirit, which ye have not received. Or another gospel.
Another who?
Gospel. Which ye have not accepted, ye might well bear with them.
So this is what he's warning them that, look, this guy's going to come, and he's going to come as another Jesus. He's going to come as the modern day Jesus, setting himself up. We're going to show you that the Pope is supposed to be the placement. Oh man, get that thing off for spirits to jump on, brothers. Hey, spirits to jump on, brothers, man. I don't think, especially Northern Kingdom, man, they can't handle that thing. All right, but it says he was going to transform himself into the light bearer, which is Lucifer. Now, let's get that the video, Dark History of Santa. We're going to show you. We're going to show you the transformation. Remember the thought. Satan transformed himself into an angel of light. Watch this. You see that video?
We have the pagan gods.
Is that from the beginning?
Saturn was the god who... We have the pagan gods. Saturn was the god who presided over Saturnalia, Yule in northern Europe, and you had Odin and Berchta were the pagan gods in northern Germany. Saint Nicholas is essentially Odin with a bishop's robe on.
Stop it right
Saint
there.
Nicholas
Go back to
always...
show. They might have missed that. Go take it all the way back. Take it all the way back. Because I'm going to show you. That's how he's transformed. He's watch this. Play it from the beginning.
We have the pagan gods. Saturn was the god who presided over Saturnalia, Yule in northern Europe, and you had Odin and Berchta were the pagan gods in northern Germany. Saint Nicholas is essentially Odin with a bishop's robe on. Now, Saint Nicholas always had an evil helper, or virtually always. These were
stop it
basically...
right there. Stop it. So it says Santa always had an evil helper. So it showed you the transformation from Saturnalia and all those other gods at that time to what you see today, which is the Roman bishop. So now St. Nicholas has set himself up as the Roman bishop. And it said he always had evil helpers. That's what you see today. Those people that are participating and helping set up all of these wicked holidays throughout the world, because just about everybody's celebrating Christmas all over the world when you look at it. Is it more on that? Yeah, finish that out. Watch this.
These satanic figures, they had animal parts like horns. Krampus in particular had a tongue that was about this long and all red. And his job was to be the disciplinarian.
See that? So this is what we're getting into. Santa's little helpers are all of those wicked people that are participating in what he set up. So, and we see that today. We see that the Roman Catholic Church set all of this up. All right, what do we got next? Get the video with Pat Robbins. I'm gonna let you show.
This is David, who says we have friends.
Don't play it yet. Just put it up there. So I'm going to show you that they know this is one of the biggest churches. This is the 700 Club. This is one of the biggest churches in the world under Christianity. And let's see what they say. Let's see what the head man said, the head demon says about Christmas. Go ahead.
This is David, who says, we have friends who do not celebrate Christmas because they say December 25th is really a pagan holiday. While I agree that Jesus may not have been born on December 25th, he certainly was born as described in the Bible. How do I respond to them?
Well, in a sense, tell them they're right.
Hold on,
see,
stop. The first thing out of his mouth, he said, okay, tell him he right. He right. But see, Esau can't stop there. The deceit got to come out. He got to convince you that it's okay. That's what we're about to see. Watch this.
the winter solstice a couple of days later was the shortest day of the year, and the pagans had something called Saturnalia. And it was a time of lawlessness because all the laws were suspended. And people, a bunch of singers actually wandered the streets naked singing. And then they had orgies, sexual orgies. It was a mass thing. Well, when the Catholic Church came along in Italy, the Romans and others didn't want to give up their holidays. So they said, okay, we'll Christianize it. They said, okay, we'll say that.
Stop. So you see that? The Romans were participating in Saturnalia. Then when Christianity came on, they were like, look, we got to Christianize this. Meaning we basically got to implement this into the doctrine. We got to change another Jesus. He's explaining to you how this thing happened. Go ahead.
The birth of Jesus was the 25th of December. All this business about mistletoe, pagan. Christmas trees, pagan. Giving out gifts, pagan. Every bit of it is pagan. Every single bit of it is pagan. We've Christianized it all.
See? Hold on, stop it. Stop it. See, look at him. The dude is laughing. He like, we got these niggas, they not gonna stop anyway. You know, yeah, it's all pagan. It's all pagan. We Christianize it. He said, we Christianize it all. He's sitting there admitting it and laughing because he know y'all not gonna stop. He like, no, we got these niggas. We got them. They're not gonna stop. No, let's finish that out. Let's finish that thing.
Okay, but we've Christianized it all. Pagan.
All to celebrate Jesus.
Yeah, but Christianized pagan. All right. The truth is, they're all pagan.
This is David.
This dude was laughing at y'all, man, because he already know y'all Christianized pagans now. That's the new term. Y'all Christianized pagans. Y'all just want to celebrate it because y'all love it now. Don't matter that it came from demon worship. That's what he's saying. The white man know he got y'all in his bag. He's sitting there laughing. He's the head of that Christian organization. That's they one of the biggest, the 700 Club. You look them up. Telling you that this thing is of the devil, but they still gonna keep it. Still gonna keep it. All right, let's find that in the Bible. Get Wisdom of Solomon 14, and let's start at verse 12.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
Okay, now read that again.
For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
So he said the devising of idols was the beginning. That's what started it all, with spiritual fornication. Read.
And the invention of them, the corruption of life.
It said the invention of them. So they just made this stuff up. Okay, yeah, let's get a tree. Yeah, the baby was born. She died. He rose. Yeah, let's put all this stuff together and make us, this is going to be our God. This tree we just cut out the backyard. Still got squirrels in it, possums fighting in the tree. But yeah, you're going to pull it out. Come on, man. Y'all got to see this as foolishness. Go, but read on.
For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by the vainglory of men they enter into the world.
It said the vainglory of men they entered into the world. Read on.
And therefore shall they come shortly to an end.
Okay, and we're going to see that when Christ returns. Read.
For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he hath made an image of his child soon taken away.
It said he made an image. So this man's child died. And he didn't like it, so he made in the image of this child. Read.
Now honored him as a god.
He did what?
Honored him as a god.
You see that thing? They honored this image of this child that died. Now he's going into the story of Nimrod. Read.
Which was then a dead man, and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices.
Read.
Thus, in process of time.
Okay, so time goes on, right? Read on.
In an ungodly custom, grown strong, was kept as a law.
That's what we see in today. An ungodly custom has been kept as a law. This is something they do all over the earth. Wherever you see Esau, they keeping this. Read on.
And graven images were worshipped.
So we see that. Caesar Bow. Go ahead, put him up. Put the what the bishop called him, the prisoner. Put him up there real quick. Let's take a look at him. Let's take a look at what they set up. We read in the scriptures that this is something they've always done. We're not supposed to do this though. All of this is warning. There it is. There, what do you call him, Charles Manson? Come on, man. This dude is soft as cotton, man. Christ wasn't like that. Go ahead, man. Get him off the screen, man. All right, read on.
And graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings.
So most of y'all mamas got that picture in their house. I know mine do. Still got white angels, got white Christ. They love that thing. They still trapped in it. If you're not trapped in it, that's why you got to put it all away, or you'll slip right back into it over time. Go ahead.
That's it.
No, it's more. Ain't it more on that?
Whom men could not honor in presence.
There, yeah. Keep reading.
Because they dwelt far off.
So some people live far away. Now let's see what they did. Read.
They took the counterfeit of his visage from far.
So his visage. So they took that image and took it back with them. Read.
And made an express image of a king whom they honored.
So this is what they did. They took that image back to their people and set it up for them. Read.
To the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him that was absent, as if he were present.
So they made this image so good. It's like you see over in Brazil. You got that probably 1,000-foot tall statue of Caesar Borgia. To flatter him, they made that thing awesomely huge and big. So when people come, they're like, oh wow, that must be God. Look how big it is. Oh man, he's welcoming me into the. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll go. And they take the thing up. He's explaining this thing right here. Read.
Also, the singular diligence of the artificer did help to set forward the ignorant to more superstition.
See? So he made the image that was just a plain dude more glorious, to where now they like, oh yeah, he must have been a guy. They probably putting electric bolts in his eyes and dressing him up as in all gold and all of this, making him more than what he is. But the people bought it in their ignorance. They like, oh, this must have been who he was. He must have really been a God on earth. Look at this thing. Look at all those people, man. Look how big this is. Caesar Bow, man, he was a demon, man. They got this dude sitting up here, man. It's pissing me off, man. Hey, Northern Kingdom, man, y'all got to repent, man. This thing is terrible, man. But that's what they did. He's describing what they did. They made it better than what it actually was. It was just a dude. They took it and made it to flatter them. They made this image just out of this world, like it was like, oh man, this guy had to be 1,000 feet tall, man. Go ahead, read on.
For he, peradventure, willing to please one in authority, forced all his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion.
See that? See how big he was? See how he got the best crafter, great engraven image to set that thing up? Read.
And so the multitude, allured by the grace of the work, took him now for a god.
Now they worshiping Caesar Bow as a god. Read on.
Which a little before was but honored as a man.
Yeah. It was just a man. He was just some dude. He was wicked as hell. Now he's honored as a god. Read.
And this was an occasion to deceive the world.
To do what?
To deceive the world.
They did the exact same thing here. They took that image, set it up in all the churches. Now everybody think that this guy is actually the Son of God. You see that? This is the recipe to deceive the whole world. You take something small and insignificant, you soup it up and turn it into whatever you want, and the people will worship it. Go ahead, read.
For men serving either calamity or tyranny did ascribe unto stones and stocks.
So it says they set this thing up. They made wooden stocks of this image. They made stones of this image. And it says whether these men were in tyranny, whether they were slaves or whether they were being afflicted, just like us today, they still worship that image. It didn't matter if you had some dictator beating and killing and enslaving people, but they still look to that image as their God. That's what they're saying. Go ahead.
Did ascribe unto stones and stocks the incommunicable name. Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of God.
See, they erred in the knowledge of God. Let's see what they do in the end. Go ahead.
But whereas they lived in their great war of ignorance.
They lived in a great war of ignorance. The same thing we're doing today. We think that celebrating Christmas got something to do with God. It don't have nothing to do with the Son of God. You read the scriptures, and he was born in April, which is around March and April, which is at the beginning of the year, which is spring, not in the dead of winter. Go ahead.
Those were so great plagues called they peace.
It says, even though they was getting their behinds given to them, they was getting jacked up, they still called that peace because we got Caesar Bowl. Caesar Bowl going to take care of us in the end. Same thing you seeing today. Our people getting jacked up. We're at the bottom of everything. But as long as we got Caesar Bowl, we good. Read.
For whilst they slew their children and sacrifices.
Hold on, they did what?
Slew their children and sacrifices.
Ain't that what they doing today? Abortion, Planned Parenthood? Read.
Or used secret ceremonies. Or made revelings of strange rites. They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled. But either one slew another treacherously or grieved him by adultery.
See that? You see that in our community all day long. Because we want to worship Caesar Borgia and we want to follow the doctrine, you ain't got to keep no laws. We killing each other like crazy. We sleeping with each other twice. We ain't keeping none of the commandments. All behind that doctrine that Caesar Borgia is the Son of God and he said you ain't got to keep the commandments. He died so you don't have to keep the commandments. So behind all of this doctrine and Christianity and Christmas, all of that falls into worshiping Satan. Satan has deceived you in believing that you okay doing that thing. All right, let's drop that. Get Colossians 2:8. Get Colossians 2:8.
The book of Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
It says, beware lest any man spoil you. To spoil you is to rob you. You already set up to get the kingdom of heaven. He's already declared. All you got to do is repent. Come out of all of this wickedness that's set up in Babylon. But you're going to let somebody rob you. You're going to let him take away your place in the kingdom of God because you want to keep the traditions of men. And we showing you. They showing you. Even the head of the wicked Christian church told you. Go ahead, read on.
After the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
So you're going to follow Christmas rather than follow the Feast of Dedication. You're going to follow Easter instead of the Passover. That's what he's saying. Look, all of these traditions of men, ain't none of it in the Bible. For being rebellious against the laws of God, you're going to end up into one of these strong delusions, thinking that you good with God. Get Titus 1:14.
The book of Titus chapter 1 and verse 14.
Read.
Not giving heed to Jewish fables.
Say what?
Not giving heed to Jewish fables.
It says not giving heed to Jewish fables. All of this Jewish fables about Mary and the immaculate birth, because that's what you see. When you go out there, you're going to see a lot of people with a baby in a manger, and Mary is holding the baby in the dead of winter. Ain't that child abuse? You got a whole baby in the yard, rain, snow. Come on, man. None of this stuff makes sense. Read on, is that it?
And commandments of men.
And what?
Commandments of men.
All of this came from the commandments of men, not from God. You can't find immaculate birth in the Bible. That's all deceit set up to keep you from getting the kingdom. All right, get 2 Peter 1:16.
The book of 2 Peter, chapter 1 and verse 16. For we have not followed cunningly devised fables.
Read that again.
For we have not followed cunningly devised fables.
So that's our forefathers. Said, look, we didn't follow cunningly devised fables. Everything you celebrating today, from Christmas to Thanksgiving to Easter, all of that is cunningly devised fables. Fables is lies. It's stories. You just made this stuff up. None of this stuff is in the Bible. Easter bunnies laying eggs and all of that stuff is ridiculous. You got a grown man with his lard back flying around with reindeers in the sky, sliding down people's chimneys. Man, come on, man. You gotta. This stuff is ridiculous when you read about it. It none of it makes sense. But some of y'all gonna continue to follow it. It's our job just to show you that it's all false. None of it's in the Bible. If you come to serve the Lord, you got to put all of this foolishness away. That's what God is saying. Matter of fact, you know, why are they hanging stockings above the chimney next to the tree? Why are they doing that? Well, let's find out. Let's get it. I found a video. I found a video to show you that this stuff is ridiculous. We almost done, y'all. I got this video. This is a short one, and then I got 2 more scriptures. I just want to show y'all. Maybe y'all was thinking, where did that come from? I was thinking that. They got stockings hanging up over the fireplace and the tree, and you know, we found out about the tree. The Yule logs is them burning, trying to bring back come on. You see that?
Did you know that many of the holiday traditions we associate with Christmas, like decorating a tree, exchanging gifts, or even the cozy glow of candles, actually have their roots in the ancient pagan celebration of Yule? Stick around as we uncover the magical origins of Yule, how it became intertwined with Christmas,
Go ahead.
and how you can celebrate it in a modern, witchy way.
Oh.
Welcome back to Soul,
Hey,
Tarot,
look at
and
this.
Witchcraft.
Stop. You see that deceit? So you can celebrate it in a modern, witchy way. These people serve the devil, man. Look at all of them 5-point stars. Go ahead.
Welcome back to Soul, Tarot, and Witchcraft. Today we're diving deep into the history and traditions of Yule, one of the most magical celebrations in the Wheel of the Year. Yule marks the winter solstice, the longest night of the year, and it's filled with ancient rituals, fascinating history, and enchanting customs that have shaped the way we celebrate winter holidays today. Whether you're a practicing witch, a history enthusiast, or someone curious about the roots of Christmas,
Stop, man. Look, listen. She's telling you right there, look, all of this is witchcraft. Witchcraft. All of it stems from serving Satan. Now, read that hanging stockings by the fire. All right, blow that up.
Hanging stockings by the fire. Those colder conditions also meant stockings could not be hung outside to dry.
No, read it from the top, because they ain't going to get the point. Read it from the top. Watch how simple this is. Like most traditions.
Like most traditions, things usually start in a mundane way. Stockings used to refer to longer socks worn by men, women, and children. Since sheer stockings did not come into fashion until 1920, and nylon was not invented until 1940, they also were primarily made of wool and later cotton. As a result, they were thicker and absorbed more water when they got wet in the rain or snow.
So when you went out and you got wet in the rain and the snow, this is what they did. Read.
Those colder conditions also meant stockings could not be hung outside to dry. So stockings hanging above the fire were a nightly occasion so they could be used the next day.
So it was a way to dry your clothes off. That was an ancient dry cleaners, an ancient dryer. Go ahead, finish that out.
Today, we know it is a fire hazard to hang stockings near a burning fire.
Read.
But back then, there were no clothing dryers or central heating.
Finish that out. Okay, so it says the fireplace was the only heat source back then. That's basically what it's saying. It was the only heat source that they had. All right, you can take that down. So that's how stockings, they were just there while they were practicing the rest of that trash, putting trees and all of the gifts and all of that stuff under there. They stockings was hanging there so they can warm them up. So it just became a part of it. They just add, that's why you say vain. All of this stuff is vain traditions. Is vain things that they just put together and add it all together. Get Job 10 and 14.
The book of Job, chapter 10 and verse 14. If I sin, then thou markest me, and thou wilt not acquit me for my iniquity.
It says, when you sin, he marks you. Oh, you wanted to celebrate Christmas. Okay, he puts a mark on you. That's a judgment. Oh, you wanted to celebrate Thanksgiving. You wanted to celebrate Easter. Okay, another mark against you. So now you adding sin to sin. Watch this. Go to Job 22 and 15. I'm almost done.
The book of Job, chapter 22, verse 15. Hast thou marked the old way?
Hold on. He says what?
Hast thou marked the old way?
What's the old way? Yeah, he marked the old way. All of those demonic rituals that we doing today. He says, yeah, have you marked those? Read.
Which wicked men have trodden.
So wicked men have what?
Trodden.
It says wicked men been doing these things for a long time. Have you marked those? Read.
Which were cut down out of time.
It says which were cut down out of time. So they're going to eventually go away one day anyway. Job is telling you, look, I didn't already mark that stuff. That's all that's sin. You just bringing it into the time you living in. So that's the class for today. Basically, we just going over why we keep the Most High holy days, because all of these other traditions and customs of men are demonic worship.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, His word,